Hello, beautiful people. It's time to speak about chrysanthemums. Actually, this what I'm going to talk about is mostly done in the autumn, but you can try in the spring as well. I think it will work very well as well. And we're going to speak about rooting chrysanthemums, our beautiful favorite autumn flowers. You see this beautiful little bush here? This is a chrysanthemum that I rooted last year from just a single stem. That's the same one, but it's another rooting. And this also is rooted the same method that I'm gonna tell you about. I didn't even cut the one from last year. This is the first one that came out from last year, and I didn't take it off because it didn't flower, but that's okay because this year I'm gonna have a ton of flowers from this, and I cannot wait. And now I'm gonna tell you exactly how I do this. It's almost 100% success all the time. It's super easy, and it's super cheap as well. So to do this method, all you need is a cutting from a chrysanthemum, and you want a good stable cutting, not to be super thin, because with the super thin ones it doesn't always work. So when we take these cuttings, usually we have them a lot in the autumn. That's why I said usually this method is applied in the autumn. So you take your cutting and you just stick it in the ground as deep as possible. If you put it deeper in the ground, you will have a better chance for rooting. And once the spring approaches, you will start to see new growth coming out of it. Now, what you need to do to make sure you have success is to have a plastic bottle on top. It's just to protect it and to give it some humidity as well, even though in the winter it's quite humid anyways. Now, this method, of course, is going to work in areas where your chrysanthemums can overwinter outside. So if you have very cold winters, most probably you don't have your chrysanthemums all year round outside. And in this case, you can try the same way, but inside home. For inside home, I would advise you to keep the cap off, because coming from my experience trying to root chrysanthemums inside the house in a pot, the success rate is much lower. They rot very easily, unfortunately. So it is much better to have some airflow entering, as here in nature it's totally different. The rules are different, so you don't need to take off the cap. It's actually better to keep it on, to have good humidity all the way over. Now, as you can see, this one, it doesn't have nothing yet. You see, it's just a stick, and even the plastic bottle came off. However, I'm not going to take it off, because when you put the cutting very deep, the processes get activated from underneath, and even if the top dries out, that's fine, because as long as underneath is still in good condition, you have very good chances to have new growth from there. Actually, as I said, it's almost 100% chances. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. You see this one here? I was checking it yesterday, and I was like, it's probably dead. So I even took off the cap, as you see. But once I took it off, let me see if I can focus this, because right here we are having actually growth. It's very small still. Maybe I need to do like this, like so. It's very small, but there is life. There is life there growing. So what I did, I put it back in. I'm just gonna bury it very well now again to make sure. I'm gonna put some straw around to make sure that it's kept warm and nice. And actually it's starting to rain right now, so it's very good, because we need to make sure there's humidity there. So that's another thing you need to keep track. If you're having a very dry summer, by any chance, you need to check these cuttings if the soil is humid enough around them. If it's dry, you will have to water them additionally. And don't rely just on the rains, because as you can see, the weather is changing dramatically, and we just don't know what is going to be the next year. Everything is different, so we really have to keep track of these things. But as I said, this method is super effective. I really love it. I've grown most of my chrysanthemums in this way. I'm going to show you another one here that I rooted last year, and it's already spreading. I even took out from it already, and I gave to friends from these roots. And I'm so happy, because that's literally for free. It's from flowers that they have been giving me, let's say, as a present, or if I see somewhere, even a flower that is already losing its flower, but you just need the stem. So you just cut it, make sure you have a few knots underneath, and stick it in the ground very, very, very deep. The ground will keep it warm, and you're gonna have a new chrysanthemum here. You see, this one still doesn't show anything yet, but I'm not gonna even touch it. I decided I'm gonna leave all the rest ones, and I'm gonna wait for the proper spring to come, and we're gonna have the results from all of them. That's it, guys. Happy gardening!